Two things about the video today. First of all, I want to address the satiety topic. In my last video I mentioned that I eat food during diet that makes me really full. I'm never hungry when I'm dieting, even on low calories. And I got so much feedback, so many people wanted to know what I'm exactly doing. That's why I actually threw over all my plans, decided to make a video on satiety, and even more, I'm working on an entire satiety project now. One of my recipe books I usually offer will be put in a package with lots of material on how to increase satiety and how you can work it out for yourself what food is the most satiating for you. But more on this later. And the second thing about this video is I want to make it more interactional and show you more of my life, more like a video log. And maybe some people who are following me on Instagram have noticed that I started putting lots of Instagram stories up recently. So I will just put all of my Instagram stories from the last weeks, or actually last week and a few days, into this video. So you can actually see what my life looks like. And in the meantime, while you see all the pictures, all the nice videos from the beach or what I cook and so on, you can actually listen to what I have to tell about satiety. There are lots of research-based tools and questionnaires that I used in research to determine the satiating effect of food. I looked through all these papers and adapted some of the questionnaires for my own usage. That's how I determined what food is the most satiating and the best for me. Also, I use it for my clients with lots of success, so they can actually see what food works the best for them. Because I find it highly individual. What one food may be satiating for one person doesn't necessarily has to be satiating for a different one. Of course, there are like some general guidelines. If you eat 1 kilogram of one food, which is like lots and lots of volume, then most likely this food will be more satiating than if you eat just one handful of nuts. I adapted these questionnaires for my own usage, and they will be also the part of the package I'm working on now. And what I figured out about myself in the last weeks is kind of really amazing, and I wanted to share this experience with you. First decision I made is actually cutting out almost all the fruits. Even so, some fruits are low in calories, high in volume, like melons for example. It makes sense to eat melons because they are highly satiating in theory, because they have lots of volume and not so many calories. So they're actually great for dieting. But I made the experience for me that if I eat melons, especially when they're sweet, then they trigger more appetite for me. So it's more difficult for me to stop eating them. And if they aren't sweet, it's not really worth eating them because they're not that tasty. That's why I actually made the decision to stop eating fruits, not because fruits are bad or they have too many calories or there's something bad about them. No, I just will stop eating most of the fruits as a staple food in my diet, just because they don't give me the satiating response I want to have in a diet. And also the fact that they make me eating more is not really great for dieting. One exception to it are apples. Apples make me really satiated and satisfied. If I eat an apple, I'm not hungry for hours after. Or even if my stomach is full, somehow it suppresses my desire to eat. That's why apples are actually still on my list, what I'm gonna eat. And maybe you also wondered why I use apples for so many of my recipes. That's actually the reason. Because I know apples have this effect for me, and also they're like really readily available everywhere. If it would be something like weird like papaya or dragon fruit, I can get here, but when I will go back to continental Europe, then it's really difficult to get, or it's more expensive than here. Regarding what are good carbohydrate sources, I have an entire guide on good carbohydrate sources for dieting, and it will be also part of my package. But back to the satiating foods. I made this amazing protein bread recently. It is really a bomb. I think it's one of my best recipes I've ever done. I enjoyed it so much eating it. So I used sweet potatoes as a starch source. Usually when I do some recipes like protein bread, I have a protein source, which is usually protein powder or white or wheat gluten, and I have a starch source to actually make better texture, because if you don't add a starch source, you won't get real bread out of it. You would just like, I don't know, some weird textured mush or whatever. And I used different starch sources in the past, but the reason why I decided to replace flour or any other carb source by potatoes is actually because one of the research studies has shown that potatoes have the highest satiating effect of all food. So potatoes are really filling and probably the best carbohydrate source for dieting. That's why I got this idea, okay, let's try to use potatoes to bake bread, to make it even more satiating for dieting. And it worked amazingly. This bread was super enjoyable. I also put chocolate chips in. I put sweet potatoes in, which made it more sweeter, like sweet type of bread, because I love sweet stuff. And it was really satisfying for me because I got what I wanted in a meal, so I didn't crave more food. But at the same time, it was super satiating, so I wasn't hungry for the next 3 or 4 hours just after eating this piece of bread. Because I like this recipe so much, I decided to put it as a bonus in the satiety package I work on. And I will add also other satiating recipes. But now to my experience with different satiating effective foods. Let's take protein powder. I usually use protein powder for baking. I usually get plain protein powder from My Protein or another batch protein supplier because it's like really cheap and it's really easy to get and so on. But here I'm on an island and shipping takes ages. So of course I don't order anything online. So I just go to local stores that sell protein powder and just grab whatever I can. And here the emphasis is on grab whatever I can or they have, because some don't have any vegan protein powders at all. Some, or like many, don't have any pea protein powders, and I usually cook with pea protein powders because they give a really good texture to baked products, and I like them because of this more. And I actually couldn't get any unflavored powder, so the last 2 times I just got some flavored ones. First one was a pina colada flavored powder, which was fine. There was like just a little bit like flavoring. It was totally fine. It was not much different from a plain protein powder. But then I couldn't get it anymore because it seems like when I bought this 1 pack of protein powder, they didn't get any more in the store. So I went to another store and they had only this chocolate praline flavored protein powder. So I was like, okay, it's pre-protein, let's get it. But then what I realized, this one actually has done the same things as the fruits for me. When I had it, it tasted really good, but it triggered not a satiating response, but actually it triggered more appetite. It was like, oh, it tastes so good, I want to have more of it, and I want to have more of it. And of course I use it also to bake bread. This time I actually made a different type of bread. I didn't use potatoes for it just because, first of all, I didn't have any at home, and I just wanted to use all kind of leftovers I had at home, because now I leave in a few days, so I don't want to waste any things and throw them away. So I've taken all the starch sources I had, all the leftovers I had, like for example chickpeas or cornflakes, and actually used them as a starch source. And I used this chocolate praline flavored protein powder that was so yummy. And then suddenly I realized the bread I made wasn't satiating for me anymore, and actually it triggered again this appetite enhancing response. So when I ate it, I wanted to have more of it or more of something else. So it actually absolutely counteracted my purpose. It was, to be honest, a really new experience for me that protein bread can be so satiating and actually can trigger more appetite, because in the past I used only plain protein powders I cooked with. I added some flavoring, but that was the flavoring I was used to, I was experienced with, I have chosen before. But now with this new type of protein powder that used different sweeteners, different flavorings, that made it taste really good, it was actually for me too good for my diet. Because the most important thing is that you enjoy your diet, but it is also important that you don't enjoy the food too much. If you enjoy the food too much you're actually eating, then it is difficult to stop and makes dieting harder. And for me, that's also one of the reasons why I use so much artificial sweeteners. It's just because I know that artificial sweeteners don't have for me the same effect as sugar. They trigger less appetite. So if it is for me really difficult to stop eating something that contains sugar, it is much easier to stop for me to eat the thing if it contains artificial sweetener. And this makes my dieting enjoyable because I enjoy sweet food. And at the same time, it makes it easier for me to stay on track because I don't need to fight myself all the time and tell myself, no, you shouldn't eat this now because you had enough. But then still, I have the desire to eat. Let me know if you liked it, that I put pictures and my Instagram stories on screen while I was talking. If it was interesting to see, or if it was more destructive, I would absolutely love to hear your feedback, because then I can adjust my videos accordingly. Also, if you would like to see more of kind of video logs, how I travel, what I eat, what I do, whatever, just let me know. I hope you liked this video and see you very soon. Actually, the next time, or from a completely different country.